In the top stories, concern about the number of children involved in serious crime. The search for a missing woman proves futile, and West Indies batsmen struggle against Sri Lanka. Welcome to Nation News for Friday, October 16, 2015. I'm Natasha Beckles.
No matter where you are in the world, at home or abroad, Nation News keeps you connected with what's happening in Barbados through our website, video newscast, and online e-papers. So stay connected with Nation News. Your news, your time, your way.
Children as young as 11 are committing serious crimes, including robbery and the use of firearms. And police believe the situation must be carefully monitored before it gets out of hand. Station Sergeant Roland Cobbler told a public forum 3 children under the age of 16 were arrested for possession of firearms last year and 4 children this year.
There were 18 worrisome cases of juvenile delinquency. That's in 2014. And this is the period January to July. It doesn't cover the entire year. However, for 2015, for the same period, there were 40 cases. And that's a jump from 18 to 40. And if you look at some of those cases that I am referring to, things like possession of firearms. We had persons on the age of 16 in 2014, there were 3 persons in that age range who were arrested for possession of firearms. So far in 2015, there have been 4 persons. That's a slight increase by 1. However, in the use of firearms, there were 0 persons in that age range who actually used a firearm. However, in 2015, there were 7 persons in that age range who actually used firearms.
Mr. Cobbler also revealed that the number of robberies involving children has almost doubled from the 7 cases recorded last year. 2 18-year-olds have been remanded to Dodds Prison after appearing in court in connection with the stabbing death of 59-year-old Brinsley Ward. Nishon DeAndre Prescott of Hines Gap, Halls Road, St. Michael, and Nikolai Matthew Thompson of Chatterton Road, Carrington Village in the same parish, appeared in the District A Magistrates Court on Friday, charged with serious bodily harm. Mr. Ward, a 59-year-old Halls Road resident, was stabbed along John Beckles Drive on October 9th. A 2-hour search for a missing woman, Marcel Smith, ended unsuccessfully on Friday morning. Police officers, sniffer dogs, and concerned relatives and friends combed the Farm Road St. Philip area but found no sign of the 75-year-old diabetic who suffers from dizzy spells. Ms. Smith was last seen at a residence at Farm Road St. George on Monday between 5:30 p.m. and 6:30 p.m. and has not been heard since. There is no information on what she was wearing at the time, but she was driving a silver Toyota Yaris with the registration number P2346. The family is offering a $5,000 reward in an effort to find the car. The head of the Department of Management Studies at UWI Cave Hill has called for more funding for students. Dr. Fillmore Allen says he is concerned that excellent students are falling by the wayside because they are unable to finance their education. Addressing a student recognition ceremony for the Faculty of Social Sciences on Friday, he cited the economic conditions in the country and the new tuition fee policy as reasons for the slide.
I am recommending that some funding, albeit government or otherwise, be speedily done, because there were situations where students didn't know when they were going to get their money and all sorts of stuff, so it was in flux. And some effort be taken to determine those students who are generally unable to finance their education.
First Vice President of the Diabetes Association of Barbados, Tyrone Lowe, says young people are now becoming aware of the effects of diabetes. He told Nation News many are realizing that the disease does not only affect older people. Mr. Lowe said the incidence of the disease is also increasing among the younger generation, and the association's summer camp has grown from 10 or 12 participants to 50. Seabreeze Beach Hotel was in winner's row on Thursday. 3 of its restaurants received the highest ratings in the Ministry of Health's new Food and Hygiene Awards scheme. The Mermaid Restaurant, Fish Pot Bar and Grill, and Azul Restaurant were among the 4 places to receive 4.5 stars. General Manager of Seabreeze, Faye Best, said the ranking would augur well for the hotel.
For our local persons doing staycations and visiting local restaurants, there's always a myth about food and service in local restaurants and hotels. Having achieved the 4.5 star rating basically says that we've been inspected, we've been checked, and we have checked in all boxes, and we are at the highest standard in health and safety and hygiene within the health and safety and restaurant arena.
10 restaurants took part in the voluntary program, and CEO of the Barbados Tourism Product Authority, Dr. Kerry Hall, said initiatives such as this were important because Barbados is marketed as the culinary capital of the Caribbean.
When we talk about being a culinary destination of note, we want to make sure that our restaurants have the highest standards, highest hygiene standards, that there's continuous improvement, that we work along with you. And initiatives such as this are only the beginning, and I hope we'll be doing a lot more programs like this, not only with the Ministry of Health, we've also been working with a lot of other public sector partners, as well as private sector businesses and individuals, as well as civil society individuals who just want to be involved in the tourism industry. We are assisting them in finding their way into the mainstream industry and creating opportunities for a wide cross-section of Barbadians.
12 1,000-gallon water tanks will be donated to Dominica, and the primary school will be refurbished thanks to the Barbados Cares initiative. This was revealed by representatives of the group on Thursday as they announced that they raised close to $120,000 from a weekend of events and individual and corporate donations. The group of event promoters stepped up after Dominica was ravaged by Tropical Storm Erika. In sport, West Indies found themselves on the back foot on Friday as they were forced to follow on in the opening test against Sri Lanka. Resuming the day on 66 for 2, they were dismissed for 251 in reply to the host's first innings total of 484. At stumps, West Indies were 67 for 2, having lost both openers. Darren Bravo is not out on 20, while Devendra Bishu has so far scored 6. Bravo spoke following the match.
I think that we won't be able to capitalize on the stars that we get. I myself, gave away my wicket after reaching a half century. Blackwood himself started well, Ramlin himself when he get a start, the captain get a start as well. So I think it's a matter of us trying to capitalize on whatever start we get and try and keep Sri Lanka out in itself as much as possible.
And finally, the owner of a Kentucky reptile store had to be rescued by police after a 20-foot-long python choked him. When officers arrived, Terry Wilkins was unconscious with the snake wrapped around his head and neck. Police say he was cleaning the snake's cage when it clamped onto his arm. He told the woman to fill a bleach bottle with hot water to help get the snake to release him. But when she returned from filling the bottle, the snake had wrapped itself around Mr. Wilkins. He was taken to hospital where he had to get 24 stitches in his arm. And that's Nation News for Friday. For more news, log on to nationnews.com as well as YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. Remember to pick up your papers over the weekend or subscribe to our e-paper. And look out for the Weekend Buzz a little later. Thank you so much for joining us.